money for the house. Nowadays it's all my life's about. And I've been scared to check my bank account. One way or another we gon' make it out, yeah. We gon' make it out, yeah. We gon' make it out. We gon' make it out, yeah. We gon' make it out. We gon' make it out, yeah. We gon' make it out. We gon' make it out, yeah. We gon' make it.
What is going on YouTube? Stock Easy here, and today I have a bunch of things I want to talk about. Obviously from the intro you guys see that I have these two new cameras, and I'm going to get into these in just 1 second. But before I start, I want to address the elephant in the room, and that is that you probably think I'm no longer going to be shooting Fujifilm cameras, and that is not true. I still own all my Fujifilm cameras, including my GFX, which I use exclusively for portrait work and some other things. But I honestly just wanted to start this video off by saying that I absolutely love Fujifilm cameras. They're incredibly capable cameras. They empowered me to become the photographer that I am today. I'll never forget buying my first X Pro 2 and shooting with that camera. Still definitely on the top 2 list of cameras that I've ever owned. But a funny thing happened. Actually, a friend reached out to me about possibly collaborating with Fuji on the GFX 100. And I had reached out to them before. As you know, I make a ton of videos about Fuji stuff. I hashtag the hell out of my Instagram with Fuji things. I tag all their accounts. Everybody around me in my entire photography circle shoots Fujifilm, and to be honest, you know, without being cocky or anything like that, that's because of me. I have sold hundreds of Fujifilm cameras because I actually believe in them, and I think that they're incredible devices to create the images that you would like to create. With that said, Fuji does not follow me or even know that I exist. None of the official accounts follow me. I don't get reposts from hardly any of the Fuji accounts either. And with that said, it doesn't mean just because I own a system that they owe me anything. I want to be clear about that. I don't think Fuji owes me anything, but I reached out to them about collaborating, and one of the questions on the sign-up sheet was whether or not you collaborate with other brands. And because I had shot a video for Leica before, and on occasion they do send me cameras to test out and try and use for free, I said yes. So the message that I got back from a Fuji representative was that they loved my work and would love to collaborate with me, but they felt that it would confuse my following because of Leica. They thought that it would confuse my base because my following is from Leica. What? Where do I begin with how wrong that is? If they would have taken a second, and this is actually what I wrote back. I said, well, yes, I do collaborate with Leica, and they do back people who are willing to promote brands that they actually like and use. And it would also be really nice if somebody took the chance to actually look at my work, because every single video I've ever made on YouTube says Fujifilm in it, and all of my photos say Fujifilm. So I don't understand where you're getting this idea that my following comes from Leica. Well, as you could imagine, that was pretty discouraging to me, and I didn't want to switch. Obviously, it's too expensive to just switch over to a Leica digital system, so that wasn't part of the idea. Everyone and their mother probably has always wanted a Leica film camera, and that's because this is kind of like the end-all be-all. If you get one of these, then you really don't have to think about anything else. So I started looking for a Leica M7 because I wanted to get the aperture priority so I could keep shooting my street stuff the way that I'm used to shooting it. And I found one for a really good price. It just so happened that I needed some lenses, so I reached out to my connect at Leica, Kiran Karnani, who is one of the most incredible people in this world. I appreciate you. She supports up-and-coming artists, and that's exactly what I am, an up-and-coming artist. So she offered me a discount on some lenses. So I picked up 3. I got a 28mm Samaritt. I got a 50mm Summicron, which I already destroyed on a boat ride in Washington. You see that? Well, okay, the lens is fine, but I did mess up the lens hood. And the last one that I got that is completely glued to this M10 is the 35mm Summicron. Okay, so my M7 shows up. I meet up with Kieran and I tell her that I'm shooting film these days, but I'm a little worried because I'm processing it and it might be slowing down my workflow. And she came up with the bright idea that why not send me an M10 so I could keep shooting digital stuff when I'm not shooting film? I wasn't gonna say no to that, so she was like, let's set up a long-term loan, which means that I'll probably have this from anywhere from 3 months to 6 months to a year. I have no clue when that long-term loan is gonna end, but while I have it, because I have separation issues, I'm gonna shoot the hell out of this camera until I have to give it back. I'm gonna have this forever. This, I don't know. So this is a, as you guys know, $8,000 camera. The photos that come out of this are absolutely brilliant. And I'm gonna talk about these things just a little bit more in depth, probably not in this video, but I wanted to get some opinions from you guys. Just to backtrack for a second. So after Kieran had offered me the M10 for a long-term loan, she also asked me if I had ever given a talk before. I had not, nor did I have any interest in doing that. But when Leica asks you to speak at an event, you speak at an event. So PhotoVille 2019 was coming up, and that is the reason why I kind of went dark, because they asked me to prepare a speech or do a photo walk. I like to do things that scare me and challenge me. I believe that's the only way that we grow as human beings. So occasionally when things fill you full of fear and hesitation, I tend to go in that direction. So I said yes. I said yes before I knew how long the talk was. I assumed that maybe it'd be like, 10, 15 minutes, and I just come out and say my name really long, like, hey, what's up guys? My name is Jason Bowman, Stock Easy. How you doing? How you doing? Like one of those things, right? Turns out the talk was an hour. So myself now, because I'm on the road, a 3-week trip, shooting photos, celebrating my girlfriend's birthday, and driving across Route 101. I have an hour talk to prepare, and as I get back to New York, I have 5 days left to prepare this talk. And the trip is so busy that I really can't sit down and prepare this thing. I get back to New York and I go completely dark, no cell phones, no anything, no photography. I have just been preparing this talk. Thankfully, you guys are watching this video. I'm still alive. I gave the talk on the 13th, which was just a few days ago. It went surprisingly well. Shout out to everybody that came from the YouTube community to see me speak. You guys were incredibly encouraging, and I really, really, really appreciate the support. Such incredible, kind people at PhotoVille. I'm glad that that's behind me. It's my first talk. I feel like it's opened up an entire can of worms. Maybe this is something that I might explore some more in the future, but needless to say, I am very proud of myself for doing that. I never thought that I'd see myself up there, and it was a talk presented by Leica. Do you guys understand why I'm being pushed in this direction? It feels a little nice to be validated. That's all we all want, is a little validation, a little pat on the back, someone to say, hey, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Anyway, that's enough of that. So, why 2 cameras? Well, you kind of already know why 2 cameras, but what's the plan for these cameras is what you're thinking. Why? Am I ever gonna walk around with 2 cameras at the same time? The answer is yes. I do it sometimes. The idea is that the M10 with this 35mm Summicron f2 glued onto it will always shoot color, and this M7 will always shoot black and white. It's a good system, right? I have to thank my buddy Caleb Henderson for that idea. Follow him, oh snap. I'll probably put his thing down here maybe. I'll put it like somewhere, or maybe over there, or somewhere over here. I don't know, we'll see. But right now I have a roll of Tri-X in here. That's kind of what I shoot a lot of. I've been experimenting with some other stuff, like some Ilford SFX 200. That's like that's the infrared stuff. I'm just playing around. We're gonna see what I get. But this will be reserved strictly for color. We'll see how that goes. So my question to you guys is, do you hate me? And which one of these cameras are you more interested in seeing an actual impression review video on? We have the M10, which obviously I can go outside and do some POV street stuff with. Also, I can do POV street stuff with this, but I can also get in a little more depth about my processing of black and whites from the M7, how I shoot the M7 in the streets, and what is the appeal about these cameras. I'll probably end up doing an in-depth kind of impressions of them too. You guys notice I don't really do review videos, I do impressions because maybe now I would want to review the X Pro 2 that I've had it for so long and it's still running even after falling off a motorcycle and dying on me several times. Features just keep coming back. That's the type of time that you should do a review, not when you have a camera for 3 days. I do impression videos, so I can tell you the things that I love about these and the things I dislike about them. Right now, I'm absolutely loving these. So, I'm sorry, let me stop. You guys are gonna hate me after this. Anyway, it's been real. I'm glad to be back. I'm gonna throw some photos up right now that I've taken with these cameras so far, and hope you guys enjoy it. And let me know, seriously, in the comment section, film, digital, and what kind of videos you want to see about these two cameras. Peace.